The Playboy Club in London is hosting poker's hottest event. 12 of the game's stars are battling it out in 3 separate disciplines to take home the title of Mixed Game Champion.
Well, I think it's fantastic to show that there's other forms of poker than just no limit hold'em.
Seeing multiple games, it's a true face of poker.
People are looking for something new. Can really take poker to the next level.
NL Hold'em all the way. No limit soldier for life.
You're just owning me over there.
How can you take it personally?
It's starting, I can feel it.
I think you're a donk.
I hate him. I hate him. Idiots.
Luke Schwartz, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, genius, my man. Wait, so genius.
Look how ugly this is. Look what I make you do.
You're just a pigeon.
Pigeon.
Are you laughing at me?
Yes!
She just doesn't let me win one hand. It's not even the river yet. You're already complaining.
What happened?
They just keep trying to rob you. Always picking on the young guys.
It's always left to pick on anymore.
Did you see my cards? Did I get owned by Timoshenko again?
How can I miss that? Sweet. Unreal. I'm making a show, bro.
The Party Poker Premier League has expanded with a new tournament that seeks to find a more complete poker player. Our 12 players have won nearly every major title going and earned themselves millions of dollars. But now, for the first time, the results over 3 different games will determine our ultimate champion. Split into 2 groups, the first half of the field are currently in action playing their no-limit hold'em heat. Let's take a look at what's happened so far.
Last time out, it was the Luke Schwartz show as Full Flush mouthed off.
Can we get started, man? I'm going to donk it off, I can tell. If I bust, I've made a huge mistake. I cannot bust to these fish. I've got Tony G, Jennifer Tilley, Matt Pescatori, James Dempsey, and November 9 a luck box. This Giannetti, he's on fire, isn't he? He's raised 2 hands in an orbit. All I know is I'm all in with any 2. I've got a 6th sense in poker, and my technical ability is spot on. I've played billions of hands online, yeah? I'm one of the biggest online no-limit winners of all time, yeah? Oh, genius, man. Wait, so genius. What a nick. Pigeons always talk about my blind. You raised my blind. Always raising my blind for the 2nd time in the match we played for 24 hours. I'll offer a smaller challenge for all you pigeons that are too scared to take the Jungle Man challenge. 100, 200, heads up, 50k buy and unlimited rebuys. If you stack me, I'll rebuy. If you stack me again, I'll rebuy. I'll be in for 500k until you bust my whole roll. Okay, it's not gonna happen. NL Hold'em all the way. No limit soldier for life. I'll take anyone on. No limit Hold'em. Let's go.
Jennifer Tilley was the first to bust.
All in? Good luck, everybody. See you tomorrow.
Who can get a word in edgewise against Luke?
Look how ugly this is. Look what I make you do.
Oh, I'm not talking anymore. I've got a hand. I hate him. I hate him. Oh, Matt Pescatori. You won a tournament about 10 years ago, didn't you? I love Italians. My favourite food's pasta. I'm making a show, bro.
There are 3 poker variations being played in this championship. This heat being contested in No Limit Hold'em. The markers next to some of the players' chip counts indicate who has played their double up card and will be receiving 2 times the points for where they finish in this heat. James Dempsey, your current leader, on $500,000.
You saw that class.
Every pot counts right now.
He's not even
And
a good tournament player,
a lot of standing on shoulders, scrabbling for position. Everybody but Dempsey, who's well in charge.
I mean, is that even real? Do you think I'd fold 6 big blinds with 6, 7 suited, let alone queens? And someone opened under the gun and he folded his 6 big blinds with queens.
Who's he talking to, Luke?
I'm not even sure anymore.
I think he's talking to several of the cameramen. I'm not exactly sure.
This guy is meant to be, you know, big
Maybe
in
the
game.
dealer?
I don't even know how he cashed so much in the series.
He's really good against bad players.
No, that's what fish say.
Pescatori limped from the small blind, and it's gone check call. He's yeah, he obviously was looking to sort of limp shove with the 7s. Would you say, or
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment.
He's got 215,000, so 20 big blinds is actually.
Oh,
Wow.
he's just got. He's gonna blow up here, isn't he?
That is not fun.
And it's really hard for him to pass now. I mean, he can't really pass.
I
can he?
mean, it's especially with the image that James has. Yeah, he just calls. I mean, you gotta kind of call after playing the way he did. Yeah,
and he's really gotten unlucky. I mean.
Oh, he bet. Oh, that's fair enough then.
I mean, Pescatori's played it. Do you like the way he's played it?
I do kind of like the way he's played it, especially against someone as aggressive as James. A lot of the times he is going to raise or even shove with something like Jack 7 suited or Ace Deuce or any like random ace. And it also gives him the opportunity to create fold equity by like hoping that James raises a standard amount and then going over the top, which is a great play with a hand like pocket sevens. But because it's structured the way it is, where the third and second is such a huge pay jump. I don't know.
Can't leave the chips behind.
Yeah, you know, like. I think he's wanting to like get in his position where he can double up more than like just try to like steal the blinds.
One thing's for sure, and that's Pescatori is not happy. You know, we have a combination of circumstance not going your way and cards not going your way. And he's drifting.
There's the Tony G I know and love, just calling the raise.
Just for no reason.
With the Jack 7, you know?
It's just sort of...
He's had enough. He's had enough. Back to the Tony G.
I think as Roland DeWolf would say, the wheels are off. The wheels are off. It took 75 hands. And
shop's open, and both of them have taken quite a big piece of this flop for a heads-up pot. I mean, Tony G with top pair and Luke with the nut flush draw and 2 overcards.
And now the nuts. And is Tony going to make a very frustrated call on the river here? What should Luke's bet size be?
It's really tough to call here. I mean, if you're Tony G. I mean, anything beats him, really. Like any club, any overpair, but yeah.
You say that's the Tony G you know and love. That's the look. That's the look. The wheels are off.
Jesse, I played it right. Don't worry. I played it right, okay?
The main thing with the format, the Premier League, is that you get points. So it's very interesting, and I think it's fascinating. You're competing for position to make sure you get through to the next round and to the final, which is the most important thing. So it's a very competitive environment with points. But that's the thing, I think, for the viewers at home. It's very interesting to see how their favourite players or least favourite players perform and do, and they can follow it and watch it. I think that's very important, that people learn new games and new tactics and different sort of betting patterns. So it's really very interesting, especially when you get the pot limit games. It changes the game significantly. It's something to really look forward to, and I think it can really take poker to the next level. Anywhere below first is an embarrassment. So that's simple. I got to take on the best players and I got to beat them. It's the only way I'm going to get any sort of credibility and respectability from the poker community and from the people at home.
The first league match of the inaugural Premier League Mixed Game Championship continues after the break. Welcome back from the Cottontail Lounge at the Playboy Club London in Mayfair. Our first league game is still going on here, so let's head back to the action and your commentators, Sorel, Mizzi and Jessie May.
5 players left in this mixed game championship. It is a league format, but unique in that 3 disciplines will be played. Points are awarded for where each player finishes in every heat. 3 players have chosen this heat to use their double-up cards. That means Luke Schwartz, James Dempsey, and Tony G all be receiving double points for their finish in this heat. Giannetti furiously calculating here.
See, I don't like this open by Pescatori very much. I mean, there on one hand, you are representing such a huge hand when you raise under the gun when you have such a short stack. But on the other hand, he's got to use those chips to kind of like create the fold equity when somebody raises in front of him.
And Giannetti, who called earlier with I think it was pocket threes or something like that with smaller. Now he's got the pocket queens. And has this just gone all wrong for him, or?
I mean, the stacks the way they were, Giannetti, I don't think there's any point in just calling pre-flop. I think he's got to make a re-raise, and like, he's got to expect to get it in with Max enough of the time where, you know, he just doesn't have to. He doesn't have to see a flop. You know, like he's gonna think that Max, if he's raising there, is probably gonna have something and most likely gonna just go with the hand.
And in some ways, was Giannetti kind of decided that he was maybe committed to Max's stack pre-flop and just playing it a weird way, or I mean?
I think it's too. Max has too many chips to like be committed to it. I mean, if Max had like 50 or 60 before the hand, then it's one thing. But he has a lot of chips. You know, like.
32,000.
This is kind of interesting here.
Did Giannetti bet?
Yeah, he bet the river. Well, went check on the turn, and then Giannetti's now bet the river, and
wow.
And Pescatori feeling great about this.
No one wanted you on
the whole thing was a bit weird. I mean,
I understand the school of thought of calling there and trying to get somebody to like squeeze behind, but I just think that like people are also like Luke and Tony have enough chips where if they think Giannetti is light, then they're gonna shove anyway.
Tony with the under the gun open.
Pass.
Nice hand. And oh, here comes Pescatori. This is a cooler. Overcards, pair, money's going in. Think how crucial this is for both players' start to the Premier League. Double crucial for Tony G, because he's on his double up card. And he's not feeling it. He doesn't look confident at all, does he?
And he's got a double card in as well. You want to get 2 points with your double card, would you think?
Oh, single, I'm rooting for you.
As the players say,
if
if Tony G goes out now, only 2 points. But the Jacks are good. Jacks just need to hold. Just avoid the overs.
King. I'll take a king now. No ace from space.
Ace or queen.
Ooh,
oh!
That is painful for
And
Tony Jizzle.
Well done.
That,
I cannot deny, cannot be fake.
you know,
I want that to win.
that could be decisive in terms of this entire mixed game championship, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Tony G to get to be on the losing side of those. So, yeah, you don't see it often.
Well, they're going to count them down. If Tony G's got any chips left, he doesn't have many left.
220. I got more.
But he does have a few.
Max was drawing semi-dead on the flop and somehow got there on the river.
150, 170, 80, 90.
And for Max Pescatori, basically 1 card away from getting the 1 point. Now up into second position. And for Tony G, who's on the double up card, I mean this is going to be the G's tournament right here. If he only ends up with 1 point.
Yeah,
But, you know, he's in a spot where he probably can't go through without winning one of the last 2 heats.
No, Jesse, don't worry. I know.
This is not good for Tony.
Don't worry, I'm not going to re-raise him with nothing.
And he looks very, very unhappy with that.
And I'm going to
He looks defeated.
If I raise Queen 10 and someone's got A7, no one's going to re-raise me. Don't worry, Jesse. It's okay, Jesse. And you talk about the hand.
Luke's got everything covered here. He's like the 4th estate.
Pass. Raise to 30,000. Pass.
Go on the schnizzle.
Well, Tony G all in for the big blind.
That's a not bad spot.
23.
Yeah.
And Tony's pretty much got to call anything here with what he has in the pot being in the big blind. Obviously.
Any 10, any 5.
Biked.
but it's
He may be biked. He may be triked.
he
The ace
does
comes
not
to
look
trike.
confident at all. Just didn't feel it.
Oh, God. Yeah,
Did
Tony,
somebody
I love
say
you.
on your bike? Did I just hear that?
I think so.
Wow.
So 2 points for Tony G, but now the loss of his double up card, and really in one fell swoop,
Johnny and Cody Morton naming it all on that.
he is way behind in this tournament.
Poker can be a frustrating game. Give us some insight, Tony, into what happened out there today.
Not much. 2 jacks and raised. Raised by ace queen. Got the money in, and last card was a queen, and that's probably the end of the Premier League for me. So using the double points early hasn't worked out.
Oh, it's far from over for Tony G. He doesn't have to win the group to get to the final table, just make the top 3, and he's ahead of 1 player already. The 4 left, though, all reasons to feel good. For Dempsey and Schwartz, it's a chance to really make a statement with their double up card. We'll be back with more from the Playboy Club in London as the Party Poker Premier League Mixed Game Championships continues after the break.
Welcome back to the first ever Party Poker Premier League Mixed Game Championship. 12 of poker's best are competing in this unique league format that will see them playing heats of No Limit Hold'em, Pot Limit Hold'em, and Pot Limit Omaha. The first half of the field is in action in the opening league match. Let's head back to the table.
Well, 4 left on this table, and all the big points in the top 2 spots.
Yeah, just wait a bit.
Is there sort of an idea that it's time to gamble a little bit, Sorel, as far as, you know, the difference between 4th and 3rd? Nothing compared to the difference between 3rd and 2nd?
Yeah, well, the major bubble is going to be when there's 3 left. That's when, you know, people are definitely going to have to take into account such a big jump from 3rd to 2nd in terms of points.
And Luke's counting out a re-raise here. I mean, Giannetti's got king queen. It's now Schwartz obviously thinking he can re-raise really light here because he is really light. And what sort of spots Giannetti in?
Well, I think obviously it's hard because Luke hasn't re-raised very many times. I'm not sure I remember him 3-betting too much. But at the same time, Giannetti's got to know that Luke is capable of being light here. And king-queen suited is just such a strong hand four-handed with the stack that he has.
So he really has to shove? I mean, he started the hand with like 25 big blinds, I think. And, you know, he can fold here and still have 22.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Schwartz just doubled his raise. And it kind of might make Matt inclined to see a flop. But, you know, I think that king queen is strong enough to just kind of go with, you know, and just hope that he doesn't have a hand. And if he does, then it probably is outs. But, you know, it is also very tempting to just call with a hand like
because it's king queen suited.
Right.
Well, they're going to the flop, and does Schwartz know what he wants to see? That's probably...
Well, you know, that might be a decent flop for Luke because, you know, he's just going to carry on with
right,
telling
Giannetti
his
has
story.
to have a pair here, you know, in order for him to continue on. He can't call ace high anymore.
Right. Well, he might be able to call ace high, but king high is a little bit ambitious, especially with how they've been playing against each other.
Is Giannetti thinking to himself right now, I feel like I've kind of messed up. I don't know exactly how or why.
I'm sure after seeing that flop, he's probably regretting not shoving pre-flop. But
wow, could he make a move right now? Is there a move for him right here? Is there a move here? And this is just a float with an intent to steal later, right?
Yeah, well, he might actually think he has the best hand as well. I mean,
But I mean, Luke has to barrel. I mean, there's nothing really Giannetti. Oh,
wow, that is one of those cards that might. That's the thing now. Schwartz, that's a card. That's a great card for Schwartz to bet, and
he just has to go all in here, really, and he's going to get sunk.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. He could also bet really small and save the little chips just in case. But it's one of those cards. If you play the hand the way you did with Luke, he's just got to bet the turn.
And it's really funny because what was Giannetti's plan there on the turn? Was his plan to bet if Luke checked and fold if Luke bet? Was that his plan there?
Well, I think a lot of time Luke is going to shut down after the flop. So I think that it's actually like a lot of the time Luke is going to shut down and it's just going to go check on the turn, and then they're going to get to showdown.
Now, though, I mean, Giannetti, there's no way he is ever doing anything but getting his chips in. It's just a question of if he gets them in now or gets the rest of them in on the river.
Right, and I think that he's probably going to end up calling. There's no point in raising here. I mean,
Schwartz is drawing dead. Look at that.
He's drawing stone dead. If only he knew.
Oh, he's hating it. And
you
know, you have to say to yourself, has Schwartz blown up here, or has he actually gotten a little bit unlucky?
I think it's just really bad timing. I mean, he played the hand fine. You know, like he made a move, and he had to bet the turn. And I don't think Luke is gonna fire again, though.
No, he says to himself, there's nothing that Giannetti could call with on the turn that he's gonna fold with on the river. It's never a flush draw here.
Right. I mean, he's just got to cut his losses at this point, and that's why his bet on the turn was actually really good. Like, going all in there would just be a disaster. I mean, he basically accomplishes the same thing by betting 70,000 as he does on going all in, and that is, you know, getting Matt off certain hands. I mean, Matt's folding a ton of pairs. Matt is playing like pocket 4 or pocket 5s, pocket 6s, any pocket pair. The same way on the flop, and then probably folding the turn. But, you know, Luke got unlucky in the fact that Giannetti hit his king. And now Luke is just, you know, saving face and is going to muck his hand.
Aces or kings, I guess.
I mean, I really like the way Luke played the hand. It's just unfortunate that...
I think, I mean, it's really interesting to wonder what would have happened if a blank had come on the turn, Sorel. You think Luke may have shut down, huh?
I think so.
He's going to be surprised to find out what Giannetti had.
Yeah, well, definitely. But I don't think...
You know, another thing I don't like on 2+2, they say, yeah, I'm that guy.
King Queen is probably the bottom of Matt's calling range there on the flop. For value, you know, he might think that he still has the best hand.
No, I just know I got owned there. Did I get owned? I mean, you owned me, even if you had aces or kings, you owned me. But did you at least have aces or kings?
I was planning on bluffing, and I got there.
Oh, okay.
That's exactly how it happened. Great spot for Giannetti now, and for Luke, it's knocked him off his pedestal.
10 bold blinds, but I'll be honest with you, I play a 10 big blind stat very well. Why did I donk off there? I should just bet more on the flop. I know, Jesse, I should have bet more on the flop, man.
He's got to let it go.
Honestly, 9-9 deuce flop. How much do you have to bet, really? I don't think this wizard's just going to float me with king 10 every time, so I just bet small, innit? Didn't work out. Cool story, whatever. I'm that guy.
Giannetti, to me, has really gone into overdrive. It's almost like he's decided it's time to try and take a big risk to get into the top 2.
I saw Chris Moneymaker, you know, on TV win the 2003 World Series, and me and all my friends, that was the year I graduated high school, and me and all my friends got into playing with each other. Shortly thereafter, I started playing online. I moved up very fast. I had a lot of success early, and then eventually I decided to drop out of the University of Texas and play poker professionally.
The decision paid off in 2011 when Matt took 4th place in the World Series for over $3 million.
If you told me, you know, day one I was going to come in 4th, you know, I'd take it. But once you have 4 months of hype, you enter 3rd in chips, you know, you set your goals a little higher, and 4th definitely was a disappointment. It was a really cool experience. I mean, having all my friends and family there, it really felt, you know, intense and everything, and the cards didn't really turn out the way I had hoped, but I felt like I played, you know, as good as poker as I could play. I do feel that it's got me exposure and a lot of respect from my peers, which, you know, it feels good to have that. But there's one thing I did learn is, like, you have to keep working hard at it. You can't just be satisfied with, you know, anything, because everyone else is getting better, so you got it too.
You're more soft-mannered than I imagined you to be.
Got 3 million popped
The
up.
game has really revolved around Luke Schwartz tonight. He's been the table captain with his mouth, with his play, seemingly involved in every crucial hand. But it's an awkward position he's in right now, Sorel. I mean,
He douched out. He just sold out.
doesn't really have enough chips to raise and fold, and
How must it nice be?
feels like too many to shove it in light.
No, that's absolutely correct. I mean, you at that point, especially against players like this, who are not gonna, who are a lot of the times gonna shove correctly and call correctly, you're gonna have to get it in there, and you can't be raise folding with 15 big blinds. It's just not gonna be a good play in the long run. I mean, you're just gonna be in really bad spots.
Well, the last time Dempsey, there's the same sort of situation. Dempsey min raised, Giannetti 3-bet, and Dempsey shoved. They'll see what happens. This time Giannetti's got it.
Pass.
Call.
All in.
And
Wow.
that's an indication, really, that, well, it feels like what we were saying before, like Dempsey may have made a miscalculation here, considering the upside downside of the whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is one of those things. You really have to adjust to your environment, and you can't be like going too crazy with these 4-bets.
Look at this. He's going to have a huge chance now to get third place.
Yeah.
I mean, this is terrible for Dempsey. This is a massive miscalculation.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Dempsey is not going to be happy about this, especially when he thinks about the hand and realizes that, you know, I mean, he could have just smooth sailed to top 2.
I'm under it now.
And he didn't really have to go with this, but at the same time, you know, sometimes you just got to go with your read, and this time it doesn't seem like it was good for James.
And for Giannetti, he is just cruising over this table. His rhythm has been perfect. He's gotten the cards when he's needed. He's made the moves when he's needed. But for Dempsey now, who's holding the double up card, if he gets third right now, it'll be a disaster.
Really bad. Or fourth.
400.
Or fourth.
Fourth would be the worst. What does he get, 2 points?
Oh, it's going to be a long night for Dempsey. A long night in the cold, staring at the ceiling. Oh my, oh my. Look how things have changed. Giannetti up near 1 million, and James Dempsey has taken the freight train elevator down to the cattle car. He's lower than Luke Schwartz. He's looking next out. He's using his double up card. Could be on 4 points. Sorel, big boo-boo by James Dempsey, but did he just level himself?
I guess James must have thought that Giannetti had enough, and he was 3-betting him light, and he was going to fold again. But, you know, it's just not worth it if you think about it. And I think that James is going to, when he goes home and reflects on the hand, even if it worked, obviously he probably wouldn't have thought about it if it worked, but if it, it's just not worth it at this point.
All in and a call. Huge spot for Dempsey to get back in this.
Got to be real. You can't be superficial out here. Got to root for what you want to win. He's double points. He's double points. I want a ladder.
137. 134, so it's all in, yeah.
If it's paint, you've got 50-50 to hit. A little bit
It's all
less.
in call.
3 jacks out. So all you need to see is paint.
You know, when you
I feel
talk
paint like
about
this in the
the proper strategy, the small blind, big blind, I mean, with Queen Jack offsuit, really anything into what, like 15 big blinds? Is it proper to shove with the Queen Jack there?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably
always
shove
feel
like
paint.
23 big blinds max with a hand like Queen Jack. Yeah, I'm just thinking.
Man, I peeled pen and it wasn't the paint.
I think both of them
you
played
got
it
Queen on
perfectly,
10.
to be
A
honest.
pretty good
can't
flop
re-appeal a
for
queen on 10.
Pescatori, considering he's now got the 4 tens plus the 3 queens. And Dempsey is like 6 cards away from really getting hurt. He's got to hold. He's got to
Go
hold.
on the pizza. Go on the sliced onion, garlic, anything Italian. Wham!
134.
Luke was making his preferences clear. He wanted the ladder up there. And
It's always nice to just look down at pocket jacks when your short-stacked opponent shoves all in from the small blind. It's a nice feeling. That's what we play poker for, you know, those types of feelings.
We would absolutely love the game if that happened.
Well, blinds up to 10 and 20,000 now, Sorel, and with Matt having half the chips and the others having about 10 big blinds, all of them, there's such a big pay jump or equity jump from third to second that it's like a super satellite with 2 seats.
Yeah, basically. I mean, third place isn't the worst, but you know, you definitely want to put yourself in a position to get top 2. I mean, that's the major bubble. Like every other spot goes 0, 1, 2, 3. I mean, those are small jumps compared to absolute, like, or a double, which is 6.
Luke is just going to get hammered here. Pescatori flopped the flush draw.
Wow.
I was just going to say that. What's Max's plan? And his plan, obviously.
Come on, the Italians.
He's gotten all in with a flush draw.
It's a red, it's a black, it's a black, it's a black,
and
it's black.
I mean,
It's a black king.
I wonder if Max.
It's a good card. Wait.
Well,
I mean,
any
Max
king, any
basically
heart.
went all in there. Yeah.
Right.
It's Luke is sweating the last card.
This is a massive pot. I mean, for Schwartz, he's playing his double up card. Pescatori, not as important.
Black card.
It's the king!
Wow, that puts Luke right back in it.
No, Pescatori's taking it.
Oh, wow.
Schwartz is out.
Oh, my God. I didn't even realize. That's pretty brutal.
And was it a cooler flop? Or did Pescatori get the pot big artificially? Did he have really no choice but to just go all in there when he flopped the flush draw, I guess?
Yeah, he's got to get it in. I mean, the hand played itself, basically, and obviously Max was very fortunate to hit his king on the river.
Pescatori up into second now.
Poker in Italy, it's amazingly popular right now. I mean, if I walk around on the street, sometimes there is a 10-year-old that say, "Mommy, that's the guy that plays poker." He's like, "Oh yeah." So I can say hi to him, and she loves me too. So everything is cool, and that's the beauty of what's going on in Italy now.
With WSOP bracelets covering each of the 3 disciplines, this mixed game championship's made for Max.
Seeing multiple games, it's a true face of poker. I mean, yes, poker at the beginning was a 5-card draw. That's what everybody was playing in the world, and that's what we saw always in the movies. Then we moved out of that into Texas Hold'em. But if you go to Las Vegas, you will see multiple games. Why? Because a professional has to be able to also change specialities. I think it's very good to expand and show different games. My chances in this tournament, I truly believe I don't know, I should be the favorite, right? I mean, I don't know if there is any other person in the field that has a bracelet in every of the event. I have 2 bracelets, but one was in pot limit Hold'em and pot limit Omaha. So I guess if you count, I have in every event I have a piece of World Championship. So I really feel confident about my possibility.
We're back after the break with more from the Premier League Mixed Game Championship. Welcome back to the Party Poker Premier League Mixed Game Championship from the Playboy Club in Mayfair. We'll be finding out who is our ultimate all-around poker player as the pros battle it out in 3 different card games. Right now, it's the No Limit Hold'em match for our first group. Now let's get back to the action.
This whole Group A turns so different now. If Dempsey goes out in third, the double up cards, we went from a spot, you know, only 15, 20 hands ago, Sorel, where we were thinking that James Dempsey, Luke could take 1, 2, and everyone else was going to be out of the game.
All in.
Well, I imagine Dempsey's going to get snapped off, and it's hard to believe. Yeah.
Wow.
he's in great shape, Dempsey, for a flip here, actually.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
I'm sure he would have raised any ace.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, on the roof myself, I understand.
And yeah, as you say, when you think about how this Group A is going to shape up, Sorel, I mean, you know, that for Dempsey is pretty much the biggest flop he's seen tonight. And
ooh, 4 sides. Ooh, scary.
You've played too much deuce to 7, I think.
Too much baccarat, actually.
Sorry, too much baccarat is right. But big double up for Dempsey. That's turned the tables. And
100.
I mean, as you said, if Dempsey can get in the top 2 spots, he's pretty much, you have to feel, locked up his road to the top 3. And it was just on that flip. When you go back through this and you think about what Dempsey has done right and what Dempsey has done wrong, he's had a real seesaw of a time.
230.
If you go back sort of 7-8 years ago, there were no young guys in UK poker, exception of maybe JP Kelly. I remember me and JP were around and that was about it. And it's developed a lot over the last 2 or 3 years. It's absolutely fantastic with all the young guys doing so well at the moment. It makes it so much easier for you to believe that you can do it yourself. When a friend of yours wins another tournament, you're like, right, you know, I'm going to do that now. I'm going to go out there and do that same thing. It's definitely a massive confidence boost. When you know these players, you know how they're playing, and you know they're winning, so you just do the same thing, and you know it will come to you. So yeah, it's definitely a big help. I think it's fantastic there's some variation from the series to series in No Limit Hold'em, which there's nothing wrong with, but it'd be nice to show a different game, and there's a lot more action in especially Omaha. I like all 3 games that are played, got a lot of experience in all 3, so I feel like my chance is right up there with the top boys. Yeah, win this title would be great. It's such an elite team of elite group of players. To best this field over 4 games would be pretty impressive.
When you find 10,
it's amazing when you look at these 3 players on the table right now. I think all 3 of them will look back on this and feel, no matter what happens from here, feel sort of satisfied with how they come out of this. And the 3 who've been knocked out already are probably, well, you know, everybody is gonna look back and say, geez, I didn't really understand this format correctly. Now I do.
Right, and I'm in a very good spot because I actually, thanks to you and thanks to really understanding the format it's in, and I'm playing tomorrow, so I actually feel like I have quite a big edge in that I understand completely what, and I've thought it through already, whereas most of the people coming tomorrow are probably not going to have time to think it through.
Pescatori's limped in here, small blind, big blind, and Dempsey very tricky with the ace. Wow, this is pretty much a cooler for Pescatori in a sense.
I mean, yeah, Pescatori can never think that James has an ace. I mean, I wouldn't think, like, I'm actually thinking that the card reader might be wrong. I mean, I thought that James would definitely shove any ace here, put the pressure on Max, but it turns out that this might be a more rewarding play.
Check.
James is trying to figure out what Max would have check-called with.
I mean, I think James has to put him on exactly a 7.
And he's decided he can get 2 streets of value, and that's exactly what he's going to do.
Right. If James bet the turn, then it would be very tough for Max to continue with a 7. And if he did, then he would probably check fold the river. But now, I think that James is going to put in quite a decent-sized bet, knowing that Max probably has a 7. When you check call there, and James has an ace in his hand, Max is almost, his hand is almost face up.
Poor Max, he's kind of been in this situation a couple times tonight against James Dempsey, where he's taken sort of, what do you call it, like the low variance line, and he's just, look at him, the deep side. This is no fun here.
Yeah, 98,000, that's about
expensive.
Yeah, it's pretty expensive, especially with his stack. If he calls this, he's pretty much going to be in the dark red zone, and he's going to have to go all in next hand, I think.
Would Dempsey play a bluff like this?
I I would be inclined to think that Dempsey would probably bet the turn with a bluff. So I think that it's so hard to put him on a hand though, like after he checks. That's the thing. I mean,
well, yeah, you wouldn't believe. You said you didn't believe he had an ace seeing it.
That's the thing. And James.
How is it an ace?
Right. How is it an ace? That's a really good question. And Max might even be thinking that James is value betting a weaker 7. So he's, wow.
You think maybe he decided it was a 10 in the end?
Yeah. I mean, maybe the 10 definitely helped Max's fold. I mean, James could have been floating with something like, or just playing a hand like King 10 or 10 Jack or whatever, and he's definitely making that same value bet and checking the turn.
Look at the pain. You can see it on Pescatori's face. He hated it, but you know what? That gave him the chance to still make second.
Yeah, and that's a look we've become pretty familiar with in this heat.
He's tough, Max Pescatori. He certainly had a lot of tough spots tonight.
Yeah, for sure.
Max is almost in a spot right now where he has to be taking on a little bit of a loose gamble kind of thing to double up either way.
Right. And this is an interesting spot for James. He has to decide whether or not he wants to shove or...
right, he's going to feel horrible if he just moves in with 2 6s and
40,000.
Right, but he's also going to be feel horrible if he has to fold, which I don't think he's planning on doing. He's just going to kind of sigh and get it all in with Giannetti, I think.
Cool.
Wow.
Well, it's Pescatori who's got the 2 overcards. Now this is a big flip.
There's a pair, man.
See, and this situation would have been avoided had Dempsey shoved.
Or folded.
Yeah. Well, folding is a little, yeah, that's...
It's interesting. I mean, Dempsey is not really happy right now. He's in a flip.
He shouldn't be happy for sure, yeah.
But he's happier now. But if Pescatori hits this,
7.5.
Dempsey is going to start wondering to himself what can of worms he opened up. King or 10. Oh, he hit 1 river tonight, Pescatori. Can he do it? No. And we are heads up. Max Pescatori will take 3 points. Bit of an up and down there. But we're down to our heads up. And Pescatori will feel all right. He's still got his double up card. But James Dempsey right now is going to end up, no matter what happens, being the points leader for Group A at the end of this.
Right.
3 points for a 3rd place finish, and it's actually quite good that you didn't use your double up card in this round, isn't it?
Yes, I know that this is the game where everybody really knows what they're doing. I didn't get into the groove of the game for a while at the beginning, but it was difficult because Luke was so outspoken, and although he's fun, he disrupted the whole game because, you know, Dempsey was clearly scared of him the whole time, and he was on my left, and at the same time he got a big stack right away, and he used it well against me. And so he stayed away from the persona that's outspoken, but at the same time he was attacking me, which was the right strategy, and end up, you know, chipping down until I was on an obvious coin flip against Tony G, and then I got into the groove. I was lucky a couple of spots, and unfortunately when really it looked like I was gonna go heads up, then I lost 2 coin flip in a row. So, but you know, I could have finished 5th, and 3rd is okay considering that I didn't use the card. It's okay.
What's in this? Well, the stats show a story. James Dempsey's been the attacker, and Matt Giannetti's been the reactor. Is that how it's going to play in the heads up? Giannetti with a slight chip advantage, but really, it's anyone's game. I mean, what do you make of these guys, their styles head up? Are they both happy to play flops?
I'm not sure. I think it will be interesting to see. I think that there's probably going to be a lot of raising on the button and a lot of... I think Giannetti is definitely going to be more inclined to defend his big blind than James would be.
Call. All in.
Well, snap, snap, and I can't imagine that... Yeah. that Dempsey is going to have that beat. It's much worse. He's dominated. But fair enough, as far as you're concerned, to re-raise with the queen nine all in, or?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a fine shove. I mean, Giannetti's definitely going to fold most of the time there, and I mean, he can't expect to be dominated. And wow.
And the times you are dominated, then you just have to dog him.
Right, and that's exactly what James looks like he's going to have to do.
And this is going to make up for a lot. If the ace doesn't come, this is going to set them back to even or so, and then some.
Looks like, yeah, it's going to be a 2-1 lead in James's favor.
Oh, is it that significant?
Yeah, I mean, he went from a 2-1 dog to a 2-1 lead. So
Right, of course, you're right.
yeah, now it's now James is in commanding control after that second.
So for Giannetti, it's all that for naught, and maybe Dempsey's just been destined from square one here. Every time he's needed to pull something out of the fire, he's got it. Dempsey's got. It's almost like he's, you know, when you're embarrassed to look at your opponent because you've just dogged him so badly.
Yeah, but inside he's jumping up and down for sure.
Well, he's on the button, I guess. When he's 20 and 40,000 blinds, and an all-in and a call. He induced the shove. He got it.
Matt's got the best of it again. Let's see if he can hold up this time.
Nah.
I think I actually feel favourite. So good I'm running.
I don't like my chances either.
Giannetti to take the lead back. Heart's good. Jack's not.
I put first card as well.
Queen of hearts.
Eight of hearts.
Down to an ace.
Giannetti needs an ace, or Dempsey will win, it looks like.
Good.
All flushy, all the time, all night, and with 16 points, he will be feeling very good about his chances to get through to the final table. Giannetti, though, impressive play?
Yeah, definitely. I think he played heads up perfectly.
The No Limit Hold'em heat is done, and Matt has come in second. James is going to be tough to beat now, considering that he used his double up card and he came first.
Yeah, I mean, he couldn't have had much of a better start, but the other people who used their double up cards didn't fare so well. So, you know, I think I'm in pretty good position to get to the finals, but he's obviously going to have, he's in great position to have a lot of chips going into the final, which I'll need to work on in the next few days.
It's going to be the Omaha round next. How do you fancy your chances against the other players in your heat?
I play a lot of Omaha, so I like my chances a lot. I was planning to use my double up card for that, but I'm still toying if I want to do that or the Parliament Hold'em.
Okay, thanks so much. Maximum points and your double up card. So actually maximum points here. You must be feeling good heading into the next round.
Yeah, it feels pretty good. Obviously, now it feels like I'm just playing for bonus chips for the final. I mean, it's not dead set yet. I mean, I could come last the next two, but I'm feeling pretty confident now getting to the final, yeah.
Yeah, you've definitely given yourself a nice cushion there. How do you feel against the other players now heading into the Omaha as well?
Obviously, it gives me the best position to be in because I haven't got any pressure on me now, so I can really go at them. And
in terms of, you know, how well they play and what you think of your own game?
For sure, like, you know, I fancy my chances in the Omaha. I feel I got really outplayed by Matt there, heads up, and he's desperately unlucky to lose. I haven't seen the cards, obviously, but he's certainly won most of the pots. I was like scratching my head most of the time and then just got it in bad twice and got there. So I feel a bit embarrassed, but whatever, that's the game, right? Yes. That was my game plan, run good. I stuck to it. Just keep getting it in behind and get there.
Let's have a look at the points allotted in this first heat for Group A. James Dempsey, not only did he take the victory, but used his double up card, a maximum of 16 points. He's far and away the leader in Group A. Giannetti, second place, 6 points, but with a double up card in hand. 4 for Schwartz, who's used his card. Pescatori with 3. Tony G on the back foot with 2. And Jennifer Tilley with the bagel.
So it's James Dempsey who takes the maximum 16 points. Join us next time as Group B featuring Hall of Famer Mike Sexton, WPT Player of the Year Andy Frankenberger, and WPT Champion Yevgeny Timoshenko take to the table.
Nowadays, you don't want a lot of young guys at the table, but in the old days, you used to.
How do I always get these marginal spots?
I can't believe you fold kings there.
You're just a pigeon. How can you think about folding his hand?
They're trying to pick on the old guy.
Always a sweat. I deserve a bit of luck on TV.